Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to all our friends, viewers, stakeholders, fans of Africa Rise with Susan West. It's a beautiful weekend here in London, and I do hope that wherever you are joining us, that you've had a very beautiful day, as beautiful as we have it here. And my apologies to our YouTube subscribers. We had some technical glitch, so we will not be able to stream live to YouTube, but we'll definitely upload to YouTube after the broadcast is ended. So, as we do it here, follow, like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And of course, send in your questions and comments. Today's broadcast, we are going to be doing a little learning and insightful conversation, is what we will be having with the King of Numi. Just before the King of Numi comes on, I will do a little read on who the Numi people are and who the king is. And of course, when he's here, he'll be able to tell us a little more about the Numi kingdom of Africa. All right. So let's just to bring you abreast with who the Numi people are and who the king Mohadib Jamel El Osiris is. I will take a read. So King Mohadib Jamel El Osiris, formerly called Prince Jamal El Osiris, born as the son of Samuel John S. Wise III on June the 2nd, 1965 in Jacksonville, Florida. He is a distinguished figure within the African diaspora. Raised in Jacksonville, he attended Island Junior High School and W.M. Rains Senior High School before pursuing his studies at the University of South Florida, where he majored in fine arts and business. King Mohadib Jamel's journey took a significant turn when he immersed himself in the study of religion under the guidance of Pastor Donald White. He further expanded his knowledge by delving into biblical teachings and history. Mentored by Pastor Bishop Dr. Wilder, his exceptional dedication and commitment earned him the valedictorian title of his class. It was during this time that he became an ordained associate pastor at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Jacksonville, Florida. King Mohadib Jamal's spiritual path led him to Virginia's Porterhouse, where he served as a pastor under the leadership of Bishop Dr. White and alongside his father, Crown Prince Mekaperure. I do hope I've said that right. It was during this period that the Crown Prince reconnected with Berber science and introduced Prince Jamal to its teachings. Under the guidance of Grand Sheikh Coleman El, King Mohadib Jamal underwent a transformation, given a new name and title from John S. Wise III to Prince Jamal El Osiris by the guidance of the elders of the family. In his pursuit of a career, King Mohadib Jamal pursued studies in radiology at Universal of Fortis. It was there that he met Penny Whitley, who would later become his wife. Together, they embarked on a journey of discovery, embracing their Berber heritage and dedicating themselves to the upliftment of their people. As their knowledge and understanding deepened, King Mohadib Jamal and Queen Saida recognized the need for a unified voice and leadership within the African diaspora. Guided by their sense of duty and love for their heritage, they accepted the noble call to become king and queen of Berber Kingdom, Maori Amazigh nation in North South America and Africa diaspora. Ordained by the high priest of Berber nations, Prince Jamal El Osiris ascended to the throne as King Mohadib Jamel, and Princess Saida El Osiris became Queen Mohadib. Their coronation marked the birth of the Numidia Numi Aboriginal theocratic indigenous Berber kingdom, solidifying their position as the sovereign High King and Queen. King Muad'Dib Jamel Osiris Sori carry a royal bloodline that traces back to their esteemed ancestor, Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim ibn Sori. Abdul Rahman, a Fula prince and commander from the Futa Jalon region in Guinea, West Africa, faced a tragic fate when he was captured by slave traders and forcibly transported to the United States in 1788. Through the resilience and determination of Prince Abdul Rahman, his legacy has endured over generations. Present day, His Royal Highness Prince Mekapurere or El Osiris Osasori proudly represents the seventh generation as Prince Abdul Rahman's grandson. Building upon this rich heritage, His Royal Majesty King Muad'Dib Jamal El Osiris Osasori stands as the eighth generation grandson, inheriting the sovereign authority over the kingdom of Numidia. As the reigning monarch, King Muad'Dib Jamel Osiris Osa Sori wields constitutional and legislative powers within the kingdom of Numidia. He serves as a beacon of leadership and strength, representing the kingdom's interest in diplomatic engagement with foreign powers. The kingdom of Numidia stands as a testament to the historical lineage and cultural heritage of the African diaspora. King Muad'Dib and Queen Muad'Dib, with their unwavering commitment to their people, seek to uplift and empower their community. Through their reign, they strive to create a future of prosperity, justice, and unity for those who belong to the African diaspora. With deep reverence for their ancestral roots to a vision for a brighter tomorrow, King Muad'Dib Jamal El Osiris and Queen Muad'Dib Seda El Osiris embody the enduring spirit of their bloodline, guiding their kingdom towards a legacy of greatness and celebrating the strength of their people. King Muad'Dib Jamal traces his ancestry back to Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim ibn Sori's eighth generation grandfather. His son Levi to Prince Abdul Rahman endured the hardship of slavery and made a courageous escape from bondage. Born in the United States, Levi was sold multiple times, eventually finding himself under the ownership of the Wise family. It was during his time with the Wise family that Levi witnessed the unjust hanging of his cousin, a heartbreaking event that compelled him to seek freedom. Levi spent the first few years under the Wise family until he met an unknown woman in 1839 and they had a son in 1878. They adopted the name Wise and named their son Jeremiah. This happened during the time when President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which granted freedom to slaves in the United States of America. After this, Levi and his wife moved to Swainsboro, Georgia. At the age of 20, Jeremiah Wise married his second cousin, Roxy Bostic Wise, in Whately, Georgia in 1898. 2 years later, Roxy gave birth to the fourth child on June 30th, 1900. Levi was the first son of 9 siblings, which included 5 sisters, Martha, Ida, Lou, Ada, Nancy, and Effie, and 4 brothers, John, Robert, Bailey, and Rufus, all deceased. Levi married Dickiness on union journey lasted barely 57 spice years on December the 31st, 1919. Johnny Bell died in Swainsboro, Georgia on February the 24th, 1977. They had 12 children: Fanny Amos, who's also deceased, Mammy Lou Anderson, Jesse and John E., Walter C. Ferries, Levi Jr., Snooky, and Johnny Lee. And of course, Jedi Joseph, Dolores, Salonia, and Sylvia. They also adopted a daughter, Brenda, and had a son named John Henry in Florida in 2018. Now, this is a long read because this will set the premise of the conversation we're going to be having so that you understand who the Numidia people are when the king is on here. I believe he should be waiting in the wings. Um, it is a long read, but I'm going to take this last bit. And it says Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahima ibn Sari and his son Levi Lee Wise's legacy continues through his numerous descendants, including 37 grandchildren, 73 great grandchildren, 32 second generation grandchildren, 10 third generation grandchildren, and one fourth generation grandson. The family has thrived through 6 generations, carrying the strength and resilience of their ancestors. Okay, Levi Lee Wise made a significant impact beyond his family as well. In the early 1920s, he relocated his family to West Palm Beach, Florida, following where he pursued a career as a shoemaker and a carpenter to support his loved ones. Answering the call of God, Levi became a minister, following in the footsteps of his grandfather, David Wise, and who was also a minister. Okay, I'm almost done taking this read. So bear with me. Levi's entrepreneurial spirit led him to become the first licensed Black general contractor in Palm Beach County, Florida. He further distinguished himself as the first Black architect in the state, designing and drawing his own blueprints in 1954. He founded Wise Constructions Company, leaving a lasting legacy in the fields of construction. Levi Lee Wise' commitment to faith and community culminated in his role as the pastor of the House of God Church of the Living God, the pillar and ground of truth, Keith Dominion in West Palm Beach until 1958. The Wise family's history intertwines with the remarkable journey of King Mohaddib, Prince Jamel El Osiris, formerly known as John S. Wise III. King Mohaddib Jamel carries the legacy of his ancestors and embraces his royal heritage as he assumes the title of High King in the African diaspora and in East Africa. His lineage, rooted in the perseverance and strength of those who came before him, fuels his passion for the upliftment and empowerment of his community. With unwavering dedication, King Mohaddib and Queen Mohaddib lead the new Moorish International Group of Science and Development, Numidia, a foundation established under common law, also known as Numidia, was an ancient kingdom in northwest Africa that was initially composed of the territory that is now Algeria, but later expanded into modern day Tunisia, Libya, and parts of Morocco and the lands of Kush. Together, they endeavor to bring about positive change and empower their community through education, social initiatives, and economic empowerment. The royal bloodline and hereditary monarchy of King Mohaddib Jamel El Osiris and Queen Mohaddib say that El Osiris served as a beacon of hope, strength, and inspiration for the African diaspora. Through their leadership and commitment to the Berber heritage, they embody the rich legacy of African royalty and strive to uplift their people, paving the way for a brighter future filled with dignity, honor, and prosperity. All right. Thanks for your patience and listening through that very lengthy read. But we needed all of that to be able to have the conversation that we're going to have today so that we understand where we are going to with the conversation today. So, yes, share, like, follow, and subscribe on all our channels. Yes, I can see the king is waiting in the wings, and I'll be bringing him up really, really shortly. Bear with me a moment. Good evening from London, Your Royal Majesty.
Greetings, greetings. It's nice to be here. I'm excited for this interview. This is many of other interviews I've been on, but I'm excited to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. So, I have done a little read um, of what, a little background of what the conversation should be today. But could you start by just doing a brief introduction of yourself to our viewers?
I'm a man. First of all, I'm a man, and I'm a husband. I'm a family man. I know that the information that was given to you that shows somewhat of a history about who we are. Excuse me. Excuse me. Um, Excuse me. I got a call coming in. I'm sorry.
No worries.
This is Amir. Talk to Amir, please. Um, let's start from the beginning. I'm a man. I'm a family man. I apologize for that. Um, I didn't ask for this responsibility. Technically, I didn't ask for it. The Creator had plans. When we don't ask for things, He have plans for us, and the plans is to make sure the work for the people is carried out on the divine level. Our people lost our way because of slavery, because of the division in the motherland we call Kibalan, Africa, and we lost our way here in Americas. And I'm gonna explain why. For me to have an identity that I could attach myself to, some of us as a people cannot go 3 or 4 generations back. Other than we have to do research, or we have to go to an organization to get permission or pay them to do certain things. That's not necessary to do. That is sad. When you have a oppressor, and we're talking about world oppressors, that strip the people from their identities, strip the people from their true culture and correct name, and label them. It's almost like you're a child of property, or your property belongs to someone. A prime example, the history of my great grandfather. We could say great 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 grandfather, son of a powerful king, doing his father's business, get caught by an oppressor, sold him as like a horse, like you do a cow, sold him to property. When he came to America, and this is real information, he came to America with someone else with him, was a part of his council. Was with him, was part of his council, telling the oppressors that this is nobility, this is royalty. You have someone of royalty. They laugh, they spit at him, and you can imagine the worst things that will happen to you in that status. So many years of fighting for his name, fighting for his identity, fighting for his culture. They made him a stud. By making him a stud, he gave off premium children. I have many of cousins, many family members throughout America that have been dispersed by making him a stud. I can't imagine what he go through or what he went through. I can't imagine that. I can't even fathom. But I'm here now. I'm a product of that. You cannot kill something or destroy something, and you have ancestors going to come forth and bring forth the truth. Even in birth records, they try to erase a lot of his birth records, saying that he only has so many children. He have many of children, many of grandchildren. It didn't just stop with Lee or Levi Lee. It spreads all over in Africa. Unfortunately, I'm not the one just sitting back waiting for somebody to tell me. I'm the one that brought forth the truth. When the elders have found out that I was an heir of that, they said that we need to have someone to represent our voice in the diaspora and also in Africa that we call our Kibalan, to let them know that we are here in Americas without a true identity. Even though that we was given names or we adopted names of our oppressors over time, that's who we claim and who we are. Some people are happy to be in a comfort state because they do not want confusion. But sometimes you got to punch a hole in the ant's mound to get them to be active. And I'm punching a hole in that ant mound to get them to be active, to let them know that we are here. And over the years, my beautiful wife, Her Highness, the Queen, been working hard. I remember I met her in college. I mean, she was a fresh breath when I first met her. And when I approached her and told her who I was, the first day we met, we have not been separated from that point. And she said, by you helping me, we can help so many people. And we've been doing that so far. We've been laughed upon. We've been practically spit at. We can call a scam. This is not real. This cannot be real. You name it, we've been through it because what? By us finding out who we are, that's the problem with some people. Even the name of Numi, even the adoption of Numidia. The reason why Numidia is a part of us because it was a part of Carthage. Carthage was the empire of the North or North Africa. It gave an ideal of who we are as a people that holds the strength of Africa in the Mediterranean. The only conflict that Numidia had was Rome. Now, if we're dealing with people then, we are dealing with the people now. The powers to oppress a powerful people, to shut them down, to take their resources, and that's what Rome done. The people that stood for that was Hannibal, that fought Rome, that gave his father message that we are not going to bend over backwards. We're not going to fold because of who you are. He took the fight to Rome. Even though that Constantine was more powerful, more allies, and such, how you know how superpowers go, they conquered Carthage, they conquered Numidia. People in Numidia, they turned them into a military state. That means everyone had to bear arms to fight for Rome. The same thing that goes on today. The same stories that have not changed, it still go on, past and present. A prime example. In old Spanish Florida, which would be controlled by the Spaniards. For Africans that escaped from slavery in the north or in the south, escaped to Florida to Spaniards. The Spaniards gave them the freedoms, but the course of freedom come through death. It's two forts, it's maybe five or six forts in Florida that was controlled by the Spaniards. One of them was Fort Mose. A lot of people don't talk about Fort Mose. They want to turn that piece of land of Fort Mose into condominiums. My family marched to keep that piece of history still there today. Fort Mose was the freedoms for black slaves who escaped from their oppressors in Americas to Florida. And the only way that they get their freedom, they had to bow to the priest at that fort in the St. Augustine, Florida, the St. Augustine Fort, and got their freedom. But the purpose was for them to be on the front lines at Fort Mose to keep everyone else to attacking St. Augustine Fort. That was their freedom. So again, that's the truth. That's nothing to hide from. That's the facts. You'll find that in history. Again, our people fought for their freedoms. They think that they'll be free, but turn around, they'll sold right back into slavery. So I stand on the past as a people. I stand on the present for people. I stand for the future because we have children that do not understand what has been going on. As a child, I didn't really know what was going on, but I had a sense something wasn't right. When I walked into the parks in Jacksonville with my grandmother, I didn't know what I was coming into when I seen black and white bathrooms in the 60s. I was born in 1965, so I was born in the height of racism, hatred, bigotry in America. When Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and Bobby Kennedy sacrificed their lives for, people say they sacrificed their life for other principles, but technically they died for a reason. They died for civil rights or whatever rights took place, they died. I had that presence to be around that, hear about it as a baby. You can only have so much from a child when a child soaks in so much information. When I asked my grandmother why I can't go into that bathroom, it's not for you, she said. It's not for you. It's for them.
So,
That sparked of interest to find out what was going on. It's a problem. And this, I'm at age 4 years old. Something's not right. So in America, racism is still at this highest peak, but it's quiet. It's pretty up. Racism is everywhere. It could be a color of your, it could be a texture of your hair. It could be a color of your skin. It could be what you wear. It could be what you think. It's there. It's sad that other groups have to classify themselves to get civil rights because, to me, civil rights were created for people to have equal economy, equal lifestyle, equals this, equal that, equal jobs. But when it should be human rights, that should have been the question of the day. Human rights, not just civil rights, but human rights we should have been fighting for. We can't go nowhere. We don't have the technology to go to a distant planet. And if we go to a distant planet, God forbid we go to a different planet, we'll have the same problems there we will have here.
right.
We cannot even get peace on Earth. When we're talking about developing technology, go somewhere else to destroy that planet for their resources and do the same crazy mess that we cannot come together here. And that throw me into a corner, make me scratch my head like, what is going on?
Right. You're
So you have before I talk too much.
no, you what you're we really appreciating everything that you're saying. However, I wanted to ask specific questions. You've talked about the Numi people from North Africa. You've given a little background, but as it stands now, who are the Numi people? When you say Numi, Numidia, who are you referring to?
We're talking about the Great Migration after the first Puget War, after the second Puget War, then the third Puget War. It was a great migration of Fulani people, Menti people that migrated out of North Africa, out of the lands of Kush, out of the lands of Fez, and they migrated into Central Africa to West Africa. And when I say Numi, the great empire of Carthage, and also the kingdoms of Kush and the kingdoms of Numi. My literature predates that information to Funani or Fula people. Some people might question that, but if they look at the history of the Great Migration, they will see that the Fula people migrated from them territories down to West and Central Africa. And some you might find in South Africa or some parts of East Africa. But that's my lineage of Fula and the lands of Kush and the kingdoms of Numidia.
Right. And Your Majesty, I just wanted to know, how did you go about, or how did you come about discovering yourself as royal blood?
Yes. Back in 2018, I was approached by a group of people. One of them was a high priest, uh, uh, a shaman that had approached one of the people that works with us closely and told him that he needed to speak with me privately. Not knowing, again, running from responsibility, running, you don't want to do it. Even when it come down to spirituality, people don't want to take the leadership, then the pastor, this and that. Running from it because I know that when you take these type of responsibilities, you held to an oath. And I kept asking this gentleman, like, why he want to see me? Do he know me? He said, yeah, he knows you. He knows about you. And I said, well, I got to get back to Ohio. I really need to get back to Ohio. He said, you got time. Your transportation will leave to 10 p.m. Right now it's 6:30. I'm like, oh, do we really have to see him? He said, yes. You're gonna go see this person. So he took me to meet Mr. Solomon. And the first thing Mr. Solomon said, my God, you are the strict image of the great prophet, and you are this direct descendant of your ancestor. He said, I need to talk to you about some important things that you need to know that you've been running from. And he read he did a private reading. He did a prayer to the ancestors. He told me exactly what my responsibility would be, that the Godhead is calling for me because no one actually stepped up to the responsibility of holding this monarchy. And he told me that I have to go to a level of coronation. It's going to take about almost a month through your adaptation as a king. So you have to know your responsibilities. And he asked me, would I take these responsibilities? Because it's held to you through your ancestry and who you are. He said, you are in the same direct descendant of your great grandfather, and you need to know what's your responsibilities because you look just like him. And I just looked at him like, is this real? You know, you have these thoughts in the back of my mind. Is these playing games? People playing games. And he said, I feel your thoughts, and said, no, this is real. So I went through the coronation. I went through the adaptation, and the queen, she went through it too. She had to make sure that she is ready. She even asked him, what makes me a queen? He said, why not you? So that journey is a testimony where attaching me to my ancestry, to attach me to the responsibility to carry on the hereditary bloodline as a monarch, and live up to the responsibility that my ancestors had left because they were shortcomings of who they are as leaders in the diaspora and also in leaders in the people on Africa. So I'm carrying on that legacy. I've been supported by the global community, not all, but it's getting out there. I do have relationships with South Sudan, very powerful relationship with Chad, very powerful relationship with Uganda, and the list goes on. So they know who I am. Um, Even in America, they know who I am. They ask me, what's my presence, what I'm trying to do, and I told them that only to bridge the relationship to my family, to the aspect. Basically, it's not me trying to say take over, but I know on the legal side that they want to establish a sovereign state here in America for Numidia, for the diaspora, and for our people in Africa to bridge that gap, so we can have a embassy that represent the African people.
And my next question is, as the king of Numidia, what powers do you possess?
As a king, by international law, by sovereignty, I have full sovereign authority to make uh, uh, law based on what the kingdom and structure in the kingdom diaspora is set up for. Um, I'm protected by my divine decree. Um, Anything that I set is in law by the king's word, is backed by a royal decree. So my sovereign power is given to me through the creator, and it has to be done by that purpose. So it's not under administrative or corporate. It's done by full sovereignty authority.
Right, thank you. And what would you say is your mission as king of Numidia? And how do you intend to unite the people of Numidia or Numi?
Well, that takes time, dealing with the powers to be, dealing with corporate and also governments, because they also have a protocol and they have to be established through bio-level relationships and also treaties. Understand they treaties, understand the kingdom's treaties. But it's happening every day. It's not one door has been closed in my face that to make that happen. And some of the projects that we have to bring forth for communities in the diaspora and also communities in Africa will help the people and strengthen the communities and also give people a future to look for, because we got to protect our children. We have to build a future for our children. If not, they will be lost these type of stories that is happening now will be told again. Oh, King Muhadi did this, but it never came through. We cannot say that because we look at certain leaders that in the past, like Marcus Garvey, and the list goes on, that tried to build a future to bridge the gap with Africa and also the diaspora, and it never happened. Even though they talk about it in history books, he made some strides. He made some very powerful strides that benefit that movement at the time. But I want this to work, and this will work.
Right. I Okay, I'm going to ask this question first, which is how do you think that your mission will impact the Black diaspora and the mother continent?
Well, I can't say it will not work for everyone, but as it's going, it's working now. The impact will carry on a legacy that I see that is happening for 100 years to come. So everyone might agree, but you're going to have to disagree sometime. But you agree how's it moving now. I speak on truth. I don't speak on foolishness. I don't talk about war or taking over someone else's responsibility. It's to unify the people. If you have a solution that is not working for you, please sit down and we can discuss. Maybe we could put our minds together. Two heads is better than one. That's how I look at it. I'm not one to just say I'm the one. No, I'm not. I'm here to bridge the gap, to bring forth projects, to bring forth the troubles that our people going through. We having children that dying every day. We have slave trafficking, human trafficking, organ trafficking, and it's all pointed at us. It's all against us. So we have to speak against these things and not just have conferences or summits and people receiving the certificates because of some of the stuff they talking about. By you sitting in our conference, in that summit, people is dying. Each minute, people is dying. I've been on this earth 21,000 days, 183 days. I live day by day, not year by year. I live day by day. This day is not promised. So I want to make sure that each day I put an effort in saving the life of a child, saving the life of a woman, saving the life of a man. Because we have a responsibility just not be sitting in conferences and we talk about the same stuff for years to come. We're in the United Nations and we have ECOWAS that's present, but we still have crimes, genocide, war crimes against our people. So I'm a working king, not by somebody serving. I serve to be served. I serve you all so I can help what I'm doing. You can help me. So that's where I stand. Thank you.
So the mother continent is burdened with a lot of wars, restiveness, and a lot of political disunity. There have been a few figureheads, African Americans, who have shown their presence on the African continent. For example, Reverend Jesse Jackson and their likes. We haven't really seen very much how impactful their relationship with continental Africa has been. What is it that you bring that will be different to what they have been able to offer or bring to the table?
Their hands are tied through politics. Their hands are tied to lobbyists that want to take the natural resources. What I'm doing is teaching our people to keep their natural resources, to use it for their benefit, to build their communities, to learn how to don't go to these politicians because that's all there is, politics. Look at the history of certain people in government for America. If you look at some of the policies that they talk about, they fight for their position for every 4 to 2 to 3 years. They fight for to keep and stay in office. Is things been changed? A little at a time. Most of the people that's working is the NGOs, the nonprofits that are really making the impact. The government is what is governed. They govern to keep your thumb over the people to make sure that every license that you get is paid to keep the government structure going. It's that's a system that is created for the citizen to be a subject to. So when Numi comes on the scene, we come with a promise, and the promise is going to be kept to structure and to build stronger communities, to give education to the mothers and the children and the fathers so we can have a bright future. I'm not coming with an idle promise. I'm coming with truth. I know that some people want to keep me from stating the truth, but I don't live in fear. And that's a sin that people have living in fear. When you stand on truth, the Creator will back you. And by backing you, that's what the Creator wants to bring forth truth. It don't deal with liars. We don't deal with liars. The Creator do not deal with liars. He stated that a lie would not be in his presence. So we cannot deal with people that lie to people and steal their identity to put them in privilege and poverty. Don't give them the privilege that they are worth to. This is the truth, and this is what I stand on. I stand on right standing, and right standing is righteousness. Righteousness.
And since the Numi
Thank
people are spread all across the world, for instance, on the continent, how do you think that your mission will unite the peoples of Africa in general?
you. It had to start day by day on communications with people who are real. Being communicating with people who are not just for the hype of receiving a title or or receiving a certificate or appreciation. It had to start day by day, communicating, contacting people, talking with people, pointing out the issues, setting up private meetings so we could back and go to each community and help with the certain leaders in the community and let them know they have someone there to support them. Talking with people, investment stakeholders who believe in making a change in the communities, bring forth the type of funding that will work. We have billionaires that sits on a one plate of food that might cost a billionaire $250. That one at least 25 of that will go towards feeding a family that's in need. So we have to change the thoughts of some of our billionaires and millionaires to make sure the monies that they get is going back into the communities. If money was bottle tops, if bottle tops was rocks, we'd be fighting over worthless stuff. We fighting over worthless stuff to gain status over something that we put value to. We need to put our value back into the people, into the hearts of the people. Thank you.
And finally, where would you just let us know where your sovereign authority, how vast it spreads on the different continents?
Yes, my coronation, being the hereditary king, not an honorary king, but a hereditary king, it runs from Canada to America to South America and surrounding islands. Um, by my connection, I choose to establish and rebuild the kingdom of Numidia and Numi in East Africa in the lands of Kush. So my responsibility, even with them people there in East Africa, I gave them my word that we will build 3 smart cities, and we're working on them projects as we speak on the Red Sea that's facing Saudi Arabia. So we're working on them projects, paperwork and everything else is in place. We already have the relationship, bilateral relationship with South Sudan will support the effort. And we're going to be working with Egypt to so help us support the effort. At the same time, we'll bring in economic juggernaut, bring a stronger economic juggernaut to East Africa to show a presence that we are here with this monies that has been raised and for the smart cities is for the people of Africa to come and build a home and also support their homes in other regions of Africa and bring forth that technology to them regions and communities.
Thank you very much. And there is a question from Facebook, and I would like to take that from Charles Oduneye. He says,
Yes.
he says, I'll just go straight to the question. Please, he says, please ask His Highness which kings or kingdoms in Africa does he have constant communications with?
Repeat that question again. I'm sorry.
Charles wants to know which kings or kingdoms in Africa you have constant communications with.
Yes, of course. I have communication with King Oyanka, Chief Oyanka out of Ghana. I'm in communication with the South African king, at least two of them in South Africa. I'm in communication with a king in Sudan, two of them down in Sudan's land of Kush. Um, my fight in relationship with the Moroccan king through a parallel relation through our attorneys. So I'm constant in communication with the kings in Philippines, His Royal Majesty in the Philippines, and also His Royal Majesty in Hawaii, King Siba. So I'm in communication with a lot of kings and queens. And my fight just this morning with Her Highness King Nadia of Algeria, and also King Mahiba out of Philistine. So I'm in a lot of communications.
Thank you. And finally, your thoughts, your final thoughts that you'd like to leave with us.
We are, and I want to say this, and I want people to really hear me. If you look after yourself every day, and I talk to my counsel on this, I look at something that I was created in a powerful being that we call the creator. So powerful, the creator created the sun. We are in that image. We carry that same power that if the creator created the sun, we have that same power within us that he gave us self-identity to think for ourselves, to see what's going on around us, to make powers and change through our words, in our hands, our strength. The women is goddess themselves. They create life within them. And by the nature of what they are, we as men are the gatekeepers of the life givers. And we are in the divine image of something so powerful that we forget who we are as a people. And we should always remember that because every nationality on this planet come from Africa. And by that, the creator created the garden, this planet called Eve. We call the planet Earth, but the planet is Eden. And we are the people of so powerful divine, where you should be proud of who we say as a people and never forget who you are. Please don't change nothing about you. Love who you are. Don't try to put nothing in your body or change the color of your skin, the color of your hair. Be proud of who you are because we are the image of something so powerful. And I say thank you for having me.
Thank you
Again, thank
so
you.
much for honoring our invitation here on Africa Rise TV. Just before we call it a day, I'd like to acknowledge our viewers from Facebook. My sincere apologies to our YouTube subscribers. We will be reposting our broadcast there. For some technical reasons, we weren't able to stream to YouTube. And Junior Reed, thank you for joining. And Shalom Live from Lesotho, she says she's watching. And Pamela, oh, Your Excellency Pamela, thank you for joining. And Susan Tata, thank you. I know you're in Cameroon right now. And I have Gwen. Oh, Gwen is from. Gwen has shared the website private office of numikingdom.org. Anyone who wants to know a little more about the Numi people, it's private office of numikingdom.org. That's where you find a little more information. Yes, John Kinwata from um, somewhere in the Middle East. Thank you for joining us, all of you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, your Highness, and God bless you. Thank you for all you do, and we do hope that we are able to support you in any way that we can to spread the message and the word.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining, guys. I know that we started this broadcast a little later than we normally would. However, I know that a lot more people will catch up later. And of course, we will be re-uploading this broadcast to YouTube. And so no worries. If you've missed, you'll be able to catch up, like, follow, subscribe to all our channels. In the next few weeks, we will be coming on a daily basis. So keep it locked here. I know that for quite some time, we have been struggling with meeting up with our scheduling. However, for the next few weeks. We will be here on a daily basis. So keep it locked. If you haven't turned on the notification bell, please do so that once we do come on live, you'll be the first one to know. Okay, Africa Rice TV on YouTube, Africa Rice TV on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and join us again tomorrow. Bye bye. My name is Susan West.